We have Ice Barrier versus Spright. Are you ready? This is not Magia Spright. There ain't no way, right? No way, no way, no way. Yup, not. Okay. Icejade, Ice Barrier. Wait, maybe this is just Icejade. Let's do it. Starting off with the Agarine, which will search our deck for an Icejade spell. We're going to grab the Cradle, which could search our deck for nothing because we're under Droll and Lockbird, thus completely ending our turn. We had two conflicting normal summons here. Angler is now here as we activate Ash Blossom to negate the Spright starter. We're going to finger that Ash Blossom. I don't think so. We have Ghost Mourner, which could be used on a special summon monster to negate its effect. So do we wait for the gigantic Sprites? If we wait, we're going to get Triple Tactics Talented. But we don't know that. So if we don't negate this now, they're going to look at our hand and rip the Ghost Mourner out of our hand. Last opportunity. And we do it. Okay, good. So we played around the Triple Tactics talent, which would be activated otherwise. Negate. And we will still activate the Triple Tactics talent to look at that hand because we still have plays. Look at that hand. Return back the Cradle, which could have searched for the Icejade Ran to make a level 10 Synchro, into now our gigantic Spright. Now it's turn 2, so we possibly want to be thinking about dealing some damage here. Spright Jet searching for a double cross, which is going to be lending towards making a better field as we end our turn. We're not going for lethal, probably. Making the Spright Elf. Elf is going to be reborning a level 2 from the graveyard. Jet is back. To battle we go. Not so much action here. Now, double cross could steal a monster on the field or in either player's graveyard to where the Spright Elf is pointing to. So we're going to use Impermanent draw phase onto the Elf. It's very important to have the setting to automatically toggle on at the end of the turn. Otherwise, any other normal player with the default settings would have activated Impermanence onto Spright Elf, and what would have happened is the Elf would change the Impermanence within the main phase to reborn a monster from the grave because you don't have your toggle setting automatically set on. We now have Hexa Spright, which is similar to a Swap Frog, but actually worse. Swap Frog is a trigger effect on summon. The Hexa Spright, you have to only be able to activate its effect in an open game state, which means you're going to be disrupted. It's going to be taken control of before you even activate it. Thus, we lose. Huh? Yeah. And the double cross is a permanent take. We're actually using it against you. We're going to send a level 3 or lower Ice Barrier from our deck to the graveyard. We're playing an Ice Barrier in our own deck. Boda, what are you doing? Ice Mage in your deck? Yes. Reborn the Spright Blue, and let's get speeding up on this play. Add a Jet. Can we deal 6,300 damage? Surely we can. We got the Gamma Burst, just like that. Burst up the field to 11,000 damage. Wiping out Ice Barrier for just game 1. Damn. We're going to start off with the Agarine, which will be searching our deck for the Cradle, which will search our deck for any Icejade monster. Grabbing the Icejade Ran, which will discard a water. Discard the Mirror Mage, which will then search our deck for an Ice Barrier card. As you further show, what? Goaty? On Synchro Summon, banish a level 6 or lower fish from your deck? What did you banish? The Pisses. Pisses got banished.
The Pisses?
Ice Barrier, Icejade, Goaty. Ain't no way. Pisses, when banished, is going to banish a fish to summon itself onto the field, and on summon, search our deck for a fish to then banish a fish. Banish the Pisses, which will summon during the opponent's turn. Let's talk about our disruptions here, because we got quite a lot. Max C, that's totally not cool. We don't have a way to negate that Max C. Let's let this resolve, and let's talk about what we have. Come forth, Pisses. Now, with the Pisses and the Paces, we're going to be able to synchro into a level 8, which will, where is that? It's the Askin. Askin will banish any card in the field, so that's one disruption. We have Dragite, negate a spell and trap card. We have the Ice Mountain, which is not really disruption. It will summon from the deck a General, which will then be able to force them to discard a card every time they resolve a monster effect on field. And let's go. Let's just say we have Ice Mountain. We have Ice Mountain itself. 3 disruptions, essentially. Spright Starter, we're going to use Dragite to negate. Now, this is where you'd want to read the Dragite. Dragite states that If your opponent activates a spell or trap card, you negate the activation. Let's read the Spright starter. You can only activate one Spright starter per turn. The card is semi-limited, so what you want to do now with this information is you want to summon a Spright Jet with a Gigantic Spright or search it with blue. Spright Jet can search for another copy of Spright starter, and that starter will be activatable because the activation was negated. So make sure you remember that if you're playing this deck. Negate. If it were an Ash Blossom negate, you negate the effect, not the activation, thus searching a second copy would not be good. Summoning from the deck a Hexa Spirit, and now we have the barrier, the general that is, and if they activate a monster effect to resolve it, they have to discard a card. Discard a card to activate the send from the deck in Icejade. Now, the in-grave monster, you don't have to discard, only the monsters on field do you have to discard on resolution. The Onibamaru Soul Sweeper is going to detach to banish the Ice Barrier General. We're going to chain paces to get Synchro Summoning. Are we synchroing with the General? With the General, we are now going to Shokan into the White Aura Whale, which is going to activate to wipe out all of their monsters in attack position. We have Spright Red to negate. We didn't even activate it because it actually misses the timing. It states, when this card is Synchro Summoned, miss the timing. Now, to not miss the timing, you'd summon Askin instead. It says, if this card is Synchro Summoned, if versus when you miss the timing, Askin would have not missed the timing. We're going to Mirror Mage Reborn with our Freezing Chains. We have Lancia Reborning the General from the graveyard back in the field, all under Max C, by the way. We've drawn, what, 3 cards now? We have Downer Magician into a Zeus. Can we stop this? Well, by sending the Ice Mountain to the graveyard, it's going to trigger to summon from the extra deck a Trishilla to banish a card from the hand, field, and grave, or banish 3 cards in the field. Zeus, wipe the field. General, oh my Jesus! Whoa, okay, that's crazy. Call by the grave, finger the Ice Mountain. Now, does Zeus always do that, or only when it has Xyz materials for its sending? I think it has to have only Xyz as Xyz materials. If it has non-Xyz monsters, it doesn't do the animation. Goodbye to the Ice Mountain. Thus, we know how do not have a Trishilla play. Gia, that's a thumbnail. Oh my gosh. Caddy is here. Caddy's waiting for us to summon to then search our deck for a Melfi monster to go into a level 4 synchro. Now, does the double cross work with Zeus? Target a monster in the field in the grave, and then place that monster into your, where's the rank? No, it has to be a rank 2, so it does not work with Zeus. It does it every time? Oh my gosh. Spright Elf is here, reborn from the graveyard. Veiler, negate, I don't think so, mate. Now, with the double cross, we could use it to make more plays. If it's got that dark glowing energy, it means it's activatable. Deep Sea Diva untargetable, as we now flip up our double cross, reborning our Spright Red to further Shokan into a gigantic Spright, 3,200 attack. We huge. We could summon from the deck. We have 4,600 damage. Come forth blue, blue grab Jet, Jet grab the Baboost, Gamma Burst, yes. 7,000 into Gamma Burst. Just like that, 1,400 damage across the board, giving us 14,000 damage. Just like that, Boda knocking out Icejade, Goaty, Ice Barrier. Let's go. Damn, Boda, why you got a 2-0? Terramare topped the Challenger Cup with the same deck? Yeah, Flunderies. All right, let's get to it. You topped a tournament in the same day as joining the Meta Weekly? You have back-to-back tournaments? What the heck? Let's go. Second place of a 500-player Challenger Cup. Pre-preparation of rites, adding 2 cards in the deck to our hand, a ritual monster and a ritual spell. Saphira sent a ritual spell from the deck to the grave to search for a ritual monster, grabbing our Skull Guardian. We're now going to activate Barrier of the Voiceless, searching our deck for a Voiceless Voice. We got Low. Getting Low. Imperm, negate the Low. No, we ain't doing it. Setting up the Radiance of the Voiceless. We're now going to Fusion Summon into, I should say Ritual, into a Skull Guardian by banishing our Saphira using the Low. The Skull Guardian is going to be searching our deck as it, yep, it's going through. We're not going to Imperm anything. We're holding on to the Imperm to Reborn the Low. And only now, at this point, otherwise it was not going to be a thing, the Skull Guardian can now negate anything. And by the way, we knew that they had a Sarvis, so if we were to imperm the low, the Sarvis would have negated the imperm. And if you negate the low from setting up a card in the back row, it also negates the effect of being able to be used for a full ritual summon, just this one card. So generally negating this is good, but if they have Sarvis, it's not so good. We're going to be returning 2 spell cards in the graveyard back to summon our Sarvis Dragon Sage. We're now going to use the Radiance to shuffle a ritual spell back to the deck to summon a low from the deck. Huh? Branded Fusion. Let's go. Anaconda protected from the impermanence due to having the Sarvis. We're going to send Branded Fusion to come forth and make Albion. This is a lock. This is a special summon lock. Jaugen is a light spellcaster, thus it meets the whole requirement of the Albion needing to be a light spellcaster plus the Fallen Albaz, which the Albion will be able to summon the Jaugen during the opponent's turn onto the field, and then the opponent cannot special summon. But it's a Floowandereeze deck. They don't special summon. So this Floodgate is no good. Okay. Now, is it doing absolutely nothing against Floo? It's stopping them from using Imperm. If we could set that up, they can't Imperm. Also, a popular card, I would say, in Floowandereeze is Evenly Matched. Can't Evenly Matched if this is going to put a monster on your side of the field. So it still does kind of something. A little something, something. We do have the ability to pop a card in the field with the trap. We do have the ability to negate anything. And let's see what we do from there. Let's do it. Albaz and Jaugen. We're going to put Jaugen on our own field. And we're going to give you a Fallen Albaz. We're going to Pot of Duality. Come to me. What do we have here? Double Imperm Dead. Dead, dead, dead. We can't use the impermanences. We're now going to use the Floowandereeze Advent Adventure to grab an Eglin. The benefit of doing so like this is you always want to think about chainlink blocking your Floowandereeze important effects like Eglin. Chainlink blocking from a negate. Chainlink blocking from Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom and the Skull Guardian now cannot negate this Eglin because we have a banished Floowandereeze to chainlink block it. Block it. Now, generally, we would then need another Floowandereeze, so the Rabina would get negated or ashed, and then we're screwed. But because you gave us an Albaz, we now don't need the Rabina. We could go right into a Tribute Summon, and that Tribute Summon will chain link block by the Eglin. So Eglin will protect our Empin. And then Empin's gonna turn off the Skull Guardian from being activatable. Let's freaking go. Yup, just like that. Empin protected from being negated, but we're going to destroy it. We're gonna target, destroy it instead. And we didn't chain link block with Eglin. Why didn't we chain link block? That was kind of awkward. I mean, we could have been negated by Ash or the Skull Guardian. Well, okay, Skull Guardian couldn't activate even when it's on the field, but we could still get Ash Blossomed. So because we didn't get ashed, instead we got popped, we're grabbing our Floowandereeze Dreaming Town. Dreaming Town's gonna allow us to summon the Rabina during the opponent's turn. And we're doing it right here, right now. Let's get to it. As they're activating the Barrier to Search, we're gonna use the Skull Guardian to negate the Dreaming Town. We're gonna use Rivalry of the Warlords to force the opponent to only have one monster type on the field. Low's a fairy, Skull Guardian's a warrior, Jaugen's a spellcaster, this is a dragon, this is a... We have all different monsters. 5 different monster types. We're only gonna have one monster on the field afterward. Let's go. And we still met the activation requirement, having a low on the field to activate to negate, so even though it's no longer in the field, we're still good. So the goal was to have them negate something that's not Rivalry, then flip up the Rivalry, and that was successfully done to the Dreaming Town. Blessing come to us through the effect of the Barrier. We're going to use the Blessing to return back the Radiance. Radiance is going to be able to pop that Rivalry on field, wiping it out next turn. 4100, we still get the attack boost if Low's in the grave. Now the Radiance is only activatable in the main phase. We got Rabina activating Chainlink block with Eglin, so we can't use that Ash. We really want to Ash Blossom negate. Do we have a Chainlink block for the Eglin? We could. Had we, in response to the Eglin being Chainlink 2, we could have chained the Advent to banish the Rabina, and then Eglin on summon would have been Chainlink blocked by Rabina, thus they would not be able to Ash. We're gonna grab a Stry. Eglin is here, and negate. Now, was it very important for us to Chainlink block it? We could grab the field spell instead. With the field spell, it is unfortunate that Eglin itself is negated from searching for a monster that we could tribute someone with, but we already have the Apex Avian. We can now grab the field spell to reveal the Stride, then summon it onto the field. So that's what we're doing. We're going to Advent, banish the Rabina, so we weren't protected from the Ash play here onto the Eglin. Come to us field spell for that additional summon play. And if the Apex Avian comes out, it's going to negate the Radiance. So we have to use Radiance right here, right now. We're not using it on the Rivalry. We're actually using it to take out the Magnificent map. The map is no good. Now to add the map back, we use the Spright to banish it, and then Rabina to grab the Toucan to then add it back to the hand. We're going to imperm the column, negate the Skull Guardian, thus negating the column. The Sarvis is going to negate the negate. I don't think so, mate. You're not negating our barrier from searching for a Saphira. Saphira could summon a second Skull Guardian onto the field, and that's what we're potentially setting up here. We're going to use the Blessing to add back a low, which can be used for the full ritual summon, and then we have double 4,100 damage on the field. Now, we got a big problem. You're looking at the field in hand and you're thinking, uh-oh, double 4,100. We actually have a secret trap in the graveyard. The Dreaming Town's waiting. If we tribute summon a level 7 or higher, and notice it doesn't have to be a Floo under ease, you banish this card, you flip their entire opposing field face down, non-targeting, flip it. Thus, it being non-targeting, so the Sarvis is no good. So we have no way to summon on their turn. So what do? That's the scoop. Let's hop into game 2. Begin. D-Shifter in the draw phase of our own turn. We're going to Pot of E, come to me, banish 6 cards for the Ash Blossom to negate. And, oopsie, we have no play. the Feather Storm is such a broken card. It should almost just be banned, but it's not. If you control a Winged Beast monster, your opponent is done. Their entire turn, skip their entire turn, negate any monster effect, but we have to control a Winged Beast, which we don't. The Thrust cannot add a card to the hand because the opponent doesn't have a monster on the field, so we're super bricked. Pot of P to be used next turn. We cannot activate this Pot of P. We are screwed, super screwed. All right, let's get to it. Zero disruption, zero, nada. So Voiceless Voice, full wombo combo. We're gonna grab Barrier, grabbing the low setting up the Radiance, which can pop cards on the field. We have the Blessing as we now make a Link Karibo. We're gonna use the Blessing to add back the low. Getting low, come to me. Radiance is gonna be returning back the Skull Guardian to summon from the deck a Saphira Dragon Queen. Okay, quite interesting. Sure, we're gonna further link this up into Little Knight. Little Knight on summon, get banishing. Banish, we know that Pot of P's there, so we're gonna banish it. Now, Super Poly good against Floo under ease. It could be decent. You could fuse the Empin and another Winged Beast into something. Oh my gosh, Ryza. We have nothing. Dead. We didn't scoop because we didn't think our play was gonna be that good. Zero play because the Ash Blossom negating the Pot of E, super bricking it with Floo under ease, which I'm sure everyone could resonate with when they play the deck themselves. Let's go.